Jordan Burns stepped onto the Centauri Nebula ship repair station, his eyes immediately drawn to the most beautiful alien he'd ever seen. The Catarian female's bioluminescent skin patterns glowed softly in the dim light of her family's parts kiosk, captivating the human pilot instantly. He tore his gaze away, surveying the bustling hub around him. The station teemed with a diverse array of alien species, all converging for repairs and trade. Jordan's skilled pilot's eye noted an unusually high number of human and alien military vessels docked nearby, a clear indication of rising galactic tensions. Commander Reeves, the station's human manager, approached Jordan with a grim expression. "Your ship took quite a beating in that Xanthar pirate skirmish," he said, his voice low and serious. "It'll take several days to complete the repairs." Jordan nodded, suppressing a sigh. He'd known the damage was bad, but hearing it confirmed only added to the weight of his current situation. With time to kill, he decided to explore the station's marketplace, his feet carrying him unconsciously toward the Catarian kiosk. As he neared, the ethereal beauty of the Catarian female, Altair, became even more apparent. Her intricate skin patterns shifted and shimmered, creating a mesmerizing display that left Jordan breathless. The Catarians, known for their advanced technology and striking appearance, had always maintained a wary distance from humans. Yet as Jordan approached the kiosk to inquire about spare parts, he felt an undeniable pull toward Altair. His moment of wonder was shattered as a group of rowdy human miners burst into the marketplace. Their anti-alien sentiment was palpable, aggressive behavior setting Jordan's teeth on edge. The miners began harassing non-human vendors, their path of intimidation leading them straight toward Altair's family kiosk. Tension crackled through the air like electricity. Jordan found himself torn between his growing attraction to Altair and the potential consequences of intervening against his fellow humans. His hand hovered near his sidearm, indecision paralyzing him as the miners drew closer. Before he could act, an urgent transmission from Earth Defense Command blared through the station's speakers. The message was clear and chilling. A massive Xanthar fleet was amassing near the nebula, posing a threat to both human and Catarian territories. The station erupted into controlled chaos. Commander Reeves's voice cut through the din, ordering all pilots, including Jordan, to prepare for potential evacuation or defense maneuvers. The looming interstellar conflict cast a shadow over Jordan's burgeoning interest in Altair, forcing him to confront the reality of his duty to humanity. As alarms blared and beings of all species rushed to their stations, Jordan locked eyes with Altair one last time. In that moment, he realized that his choice, to protect her or to fulfill his duty, could shape not only his future, but the fate of human-Catarian relations in the face of the Xanthar threat. With the station on high alert and the galaxy on the brink of war, Jordan Burns found himself at the center of a cosmic crossroads, torn between love, duty, and the unknown perils that awaited them all. Jordan's muscles tensed as he watched the miners approach Altair's kiosk. The station's alarms blared, but the rowdy group seemed oblivious to the looming threat, focused solely on their xenophobic agenda. In that moment, Jordan made his choice. He stepped forward, positioning himself between the miners and Altair's family. "Gentlemen," he said, his voice calm but authoritative, "I suggest you reconsider your actions. We have more pressing matters at hand." The lead miner, a burly man with a scarred face, sneered. "Who do you think you are?" "Jordan Burns, pilot of the Stargazer," Jordan replied, meeting the man's gaze steadily. "And right now, we need every skilled being on this station working together, not tearing each other apart." The miners hesitated, recognition flickering in their eyes. Jordan's reputation as a skilled pilot carried weight, even among the rough crowd. Before the situation could escalate further, Commander Reeves appeared, his presence immediately commanding attention. "Burns is right," Reeves said, his voice cutting through the tension. "We're facing a Xanthar threat. I need all of you to report to your assigned stations immediately." The miners grumbled but dispersed, leaving Jordan standing before Altair's kiosk. He turned to face her, struck anew by the mesmerizing patterns rippling across her skin. Reeves approached, his expression a mix of approval and concern. "Good work defusing that situation, Burns, but be careful about appearing to favor aliens over humans. These are tense times. Jordan nodded, understanding the delicate balance he'd have to maintain. As Reeves walked away, Altair stepped closer, her luminescent eyes meeting Jordan's. "Thank you," she said, her voice melodic and slightly accented. "Your intervention was unexpected." Before Jordan could respond, a station-wide announcement crackled over the speakers. "All personnel report to defense stations. Pilots report to Hangar Bay 3 for team assignments." Jordan gave Altair an apologetic look. "Duty calls," he said, turning to leave. "Perhaps our paths will cross again," Altair called after him, her words carrying a hint of hope. In Hangar Bay 3, Jordan found himself assigned to a mixed human-alien defense team. To his surprise and secret delight, Altair was among them, her technical expertise with Tarian technology making her an invaluable asset. As they prepared their ships for potential combat, Jordan and Altair worked side by side, their conversations moving from technical specifications to personal histories. Jordan shared stories of his adventures as a pilot, while Altair spoke of her family's work developing advanced shield technology. "Our shields could be crucial in the coming conflict," Altair explained, her fingers dancing over a control panel. "They're designed to adapt to various energy signatures, including those used by Xanthar weapons." Jordan whistled, impressed. That could give us a significant advantage. Their budding camaraderie was interrupted by a series of unexplained malfunctions throughout the station. Lights flickered, communications systems crackled with static, and security protocols faltered. Suspicion quickly spread among the human population. Jordan overheard whispered accusations, many directed at the Catarians and other alien species. He felt a growing unease, torn between his duty to humanity and his deepening connection with Altair. The situation reached a boiling point when a Xanthar scout ship was detected near the station. Commander Reeves called an emergency briefing, his face grim as he addressed the assembled pilots. "We need eyes on that Xanthar fleet," Reeves announced. "I'm calling for volunteers for a high-risk recon mission. We need skilled pilots who can get in, gather intel, and get out without being detected." Jordan's hands shot up before he could second-guess himself. "I'll go, sir." Reeves nodded, unsurprised. "I had a feeling you'd volunteer, Burns. You'll need—" "Me," Altair interrupted, stepping forward. "You'll need me on this mission." A murmur rippled through the assembled pilots. Reeves raised an eyebrow. "Explain." Altair stood tall, her skin pulsing with determined patterns. "My family's cloaking technology is superior to anything in your arsenal. Combined with Jordan's piloting skills, we'd have the best chance of success." Reeves considered for a moment, then nodded. "Agreed. Burns, you and Altair will take our most advanced scout ship. You leave in 1 hour." As they prepared for the mission, Jordan and Altair made a startling discovery. Hidden within the station's security logs were traces of an unknown signature, one that matched Xanthar encryption patterns. "The security breaches," Jordan said, realization dawning. "They weren't caused by station residents. We have Xanthar infiltrators." Altair's skin flashed with alarm. "We should report this immediately." Jordan hesitated. "If we do, Reeves might cancel our mission. And right now, that intel on the Xanthar fleet is our top priority." They shared a long look, understanding passing between them. Without a word, they boarded their scout ship, the weight of their secret and the importance of their mission hanging heavy between them. As the docking bay doors opened, revealing the star-studded expanse of space, Jordan glanced at Altair. Her bioluminescent patterns seemed to pulse in sync with the ship's systems, a visual representation of the connection between pilot, ship, and navigator. "Ready?" Jordan asked, his hand hovering over the launch controls. Altair met his gaze, her alien features softening with a very human emotion. "With you? Always." The scout ship slipped out of the station, cloaked in Tarian technology and piloted by a human-alien team united in purpose. As they ventured into the unknown, facing dangers from both the approaching Xanthar fleet and potential infiltrators back on the station, Jordan and Altair drew strength from their growing bond, a connection that could reshape the future of human-alien relations if they survive the challenges ahead. The scout ship slipped silently through the star-studded expanse, its Qatarian cloaking technology rendering it invisible to both eyes and sensors. Inside the cockpit, Jordan's hands danced across the controls with practiced ease, guiding the vessel deeper into the Centauri Nebula. Beside him, Altair's skin pulsed with soft bioluminescence, her patterns shifting in harmony with the ship's systems as she monitored their sensors. "Picking up something on long-range scans," Altair said, her melodic voice tinged with concern. "It's... Jordan, you need to see this." Jordan leaned over, his eyes widening as he took in the sensor data. "That can't be right. The fleet, it's massive." The screen before them displayed a vast array of Xanthar ships, their numbers far exceeding initial estimates. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of vessels stretched across the nebula, their formation clearly indicating an invasion force primed for attack. "We need to get this information back to the station," Jordan said, already plotting a return course. "They have no idea what's coming." As if in response to his words, the ship suddenly lurched, throwing both pilot and navigator against their restraints. Warning lights flashed across the console as a shrill alarm filled the cockpit. "Propulsion system failure," Altair reported, her fingers flying over the controls. "We're losing power to the main engines." Jordan's fists tight as he fought to keep the ship steady. "Any habitable planets nearby?" Altair scanned the nav charts. "There's one within range of our auxiliary thrusters. But Jordan, its atmosphere is toxic to both our species, and the surface temperatures are extreme." "We don't have a choice," Jordan replied, already adjusting their course. "We need to land and make repairs if we're going to warn the others." The descent through the planet's turbulent atmosphere pushed the damaged scout ship to its limits. Jordan's piloting skills were tested as he navigated through swirling clouds of noxious gas, the ship's hull groaning under the strain. With a bone-jarring thud, they touched down on the barren rocky surface. Donning protective suits, Jordan and Altair emerged from the ship into a hostile alien landscape. Wind howled around them, whipping caustic dust into the air. In the distance, massive rock formations loomed, their jagged silhouettes eerily lit by flashes of electrical storms in the upper atmosphere. "We need to work fast," Jordan said, his voice slightly distorted through the suit's comm system. "Our suits won't hold up against this atmosphere forever." Together, they set to work on the ship's damaged propulsion system. As they toiled side by side, sharing tools and trading theories on the cause of the malfunction, the barriers between their species seemed to fade away. In this unforgiving environment, they were simply two beings united in their struggle for survival. During a brief rest as they huddled in the ship's airlock to conserve their suit's power, Altair's luminescent patterns shifted to a softer, more intricate design. "My family has been developing weapons technology in secret," she confided, her alien eyes meeting Jordan's. "We believed that one day we might face a threat that would require all species to stand together." Jordan nodded, understanding the weight of her admission. "Humans have a long history of coming together in the face of a common enemy," he said. "Maybe this Xanthar threat is what we need to finally bridge the gap between our peoples." Their moment of connection was shattered by a piercing alarm from their ship's proximity sensors. Jordan rushed to the cockpit, his heart sinking as he saw the cause. A Xanthar scouting party had landed nearby. "We need to move," he said urgently, grabbing Altair's arm. "There's a network of caverns to the east. If we can reach them, we might be able to avoid detection." They abandoned their repair efforts, sprinting across the rocky terrain as fast as their protective suits would allow. Just as they reached the mouth of a narrow cave, a Xanthar ship roared overhead, its searchlights cutting through the planet's hazy atmosphere. Deep in the winding caverns, Jordan and Altair pressed themselves against the cool stone walls, their labored breathing loud in the confined space. Altair dimmed her bioluminescence, plunging them into near-total darkness. They held their position, barely daring to move as the sound of Xanthar voices echoed from the cave's entrance. The attack must be precisely timed," one gravelly voice said. "Our operative on the station will disable their defenses at the critical moment." Jordan and Altair exchanged a shocked glance. The infiltrator they had suspected on the station was real, and the situation was even more dire than they had imagined. As the Xanthar voices faded, Jordan's mind raced. They needed to warn the station, but their ship was damaged and exposed. There was only one option. "We need to steal one of their ships," he whispered to Altair. Her luminescent patterns flickered with surprise, then grit. "It's our only chance," she agreed. "But how?" Jordan peered out of the cave, noting the gathering storm clouds above. "We wait for the storm to hit. The electrical interference should disrupt their sensors. Then we make our move." As they waited, tension building with each passing moment, Jordan felt Altair's hand slip into his. He squeezed it gently, drawing strength from their connection. When the storm finally broke, they moved with silent drive. Racing through sheets of acid rain, they approached the Xanthar camp. Lightning flashed overhead, briefly illuminating the alien ship they had chosen as their target. Using Altair's technical expertise, they managed to bypass the ship's security systems. Just as they were about to board, a Xanthar soldier spotted them. In the ensuing firefight, Jordan felt a searing pain in his arm as an energy blast grazed him. Once inside the ship, Altair's bioluminescence pulsed brightly as she examined Jordan's wound. "It's not deep," she said, relief evident in her voice as she applied a healing salve from the ship's medical kit. With alarms blaring around them, Jordan took the pilot's seat of the unfamiliar craft. "I hope your family's research extended to Xanthar technology," he said, his hands hovering uncertainly over the alien controls. Altair's patterns shifted to a determined configuration as she took the co-pilot's seat. "Let's find out together." As the stolen ship lifted off, leaving the stormy planet behind, Jordan and Altair shared a moment of triumph. But their victory was short-lived as the reality of their situation set in. Ahead lay the Xanthar fleet, the treacherous nebula, and a station that would likely fire on them on sight. Jordan set a course through the heart of the nebula, using the dense gas clouds for cover. "Ready for the real challenge?" he asked, a grim smile on his face. Altair's skin pulsed with a pattern Jordan had come to recognize as drive. "With you? Always." As they plunged deeper into the nebula, the stolen Xanthar ship disappearing into the swirling clouds of cosmic dust, Jordan and Altair prepared themselves for the most dangerous part of their journey. The fate of the station, and perhaps the entire sector, rested on their ability to navigate the perils ahead and deliver their crucial warning in time. Time. The stolen Xanthar vessel emerged from the swirling nebula, its unfamiliar silhouette immediately triggering the station's automated defense systems. Proximity alarms blared throughout the cockpit as targeting locks engaged. "They can't recognize us," Jordan said, his hands tightening on the alien controls. "Hold on." He threw the ship into a series of evasive maneuvers, the G-forces pressing them into their seats. Energy beams lanced past the viewport, missing them by mere meters. Altair's skin pulsed rapidly, her fingers dancing across the unfamiliar console. "I'm trying to establish communications," she said, her voice strained. "But the nebula's interference is scrambling everything." Jordan's eyes darted between the viewport and the tactical display, plotting a complex series of twists and turns to avoid the incoming fire. The ship groaned under the stress, its hull never designed for such extreme maneuvers. "How much longer do you need?" Jordan asked, narrowly avoiding a barrage of plasma bolts. Altair's bioluminescence intensified as she worked. "Almost there. I'm bypassing the primary communication circuits and rigging a makeshift transmitter using components from the navigation system." Another volley of shots from the station rocked the ship. Warning lights flashed across the console, indicating damage to the port stabilizers. Jordan compensated, but their options were running out. "Altair, we're out of time." "Got it," she exclaimed. Her skin flashed triumphantly as she activated the jury-rigged transmitter. "Sending coded identification now." Seconds stretched into an eternity as they waited for a response. Jordan continued his evasive pattern, but fatigue was setting in. Just as another barrage of fire erupted from the station, the weapons abruptly fell silent. "They've received our signal," Altair said, relief evident in her voice. Jordan allowed himself a small smile as he guided the battered Xanthar ship towards the nearest docking bay. As they touched down, he saw a heavily armed security team rushing to meet them, led by a familiar figure. "Looks like Commander Reeves isn't taking any chances," Jordan muttered as they prepared to disembark. The moment they stepped out of the ship, they were surrounded by a mix of human and alien security personnel, weapons trained on them. Commander Reeves strode forward, his expression a mask of suspicion and concern. "Burns, Altair, you'd better have one hell of an explanation for this," Reeves said, his voice tight. Jordan nodded, meeting the commander's gaze. "Sir, we have critical intelligence about the Xanthar fleet. They're planning a surprise attack on the station, and their numbers are far greater than we initially thought." Altair stepped forward, her luminescence pulsing with urgency. "There's more. We have confirmation of a Xanthar infiltrator within the station. They're responsible for the security breaches and plan to disable our defenses at a critical moment." A murmur rippled through the assembled security team. Reeves' eyes narrowed as he processed the information. After a tense moment, he lowered his weapon and gestured for the others to do the same. "My office now," he ordered. "We need to brief the rest of the command staff immediately." Minutes later, Jordan and Altair found themselves in a packed conference room, surrounded by the station's military leadership. Humans and aliens alike listened intently as they recounted their harrowing mission, presenting the intelligence they'd gathered about the Xanthar fleet and the looming threat. As they concluded their report, a heavy silence fell over the room. Commander Reeves leaned forward, his fingers steepled in front of him. "If what you're saying is true, we're facing an unprecedented threat," he said. "We need to prepare for battle, but we also need to root out this infiltrator before they can sabotage our defenses." A Tarian admiral, his skin shimmering with patterns of concern, spoke up. "We must put aside our differences and work together. The Xanthars threaten us all equally." Nods of agreement rippled through the room, but Jordan could see the lingering distrust in some eyes. The alliance was fragile, born of necessity rather than true understanding. Reeves stood, his decision made. "Burns, I'm putting you in charge of a mixed squadron of human and alien pilots. We'll need every skilled flyer we have when the Xanthars arrive." He turned to Altair. "And we could use your expertise with that shield technology your family's been developing. Work with our engineering team to get it implemented as quickly as possible." As the meeting adjourned and preparations began in earnest, Jordan found himself surrounded by a diverse group of pilots. Humans stood shoulder to shoulder with Tarians, Centaurians, and other species he could barely name. The atmosphere was tense, years of mistrust and prejudice not easily forgotten. "All right, listen up," Jordan said, pushing aside his own uncertainties. "We're about to face the fight of our lives. I don't care what planet you're from or what you look like. All that matters is that you can fly and you're willing to defend this station. Let's get to work." As Jordan began coordinating with his new squadron, running combat simulations and developing strategies, he couldn't help but notice the sidelong glances and whispered conversations that followed him. His closeness with Altair had not gone unnoticed, and it was clear that not everyone approved. Meanwhile, Altair found herself in the heart of the station's engineering bay, surrounded by a cacophony of alien languages and the hum of advanced technology. She worked tirelessly, explaining the intricacies of her family's shield designs to a team of engineers from a dozen different species. As the hours ticked by and the station's defenses were slowly bolstered, an undercurrent of tension began to build. The search for the Xanthar infiltrator had everyone on edge, with suspicion and paranoia threatening to undermine the fragile cooperation between species. Jordan found himself defending Altair and other aliens against accusations from some of his fellow humans, straining relationships he'd built over years of service. The pressure mounted as a series of minor sabotage attempts were discovered throughout the station, disabling non-critical systems but heightening the sense of vulnerability. As Jordan and Altair worked to prepare the station's defenses, they became aware of the controversy surrounding their relationship. Whispers followed them through the corridors, some seeing their bond as a beacon of hope for interspecies cooperation, while others viewed it as a potential security risk. The situation reached a boiling point when a major sabotage attempt was discovered in the station's primary power core. As alarms blared and emergency teams rushed to contain the damage, Jordan and Altair found themselves at the center of a storm of accusations and counter-accusations. In the midst of the chaos, evidence began to surface pointing towards a high-ranking human official as the potential Xanthar agent. The revelation sent shockwaves through the station, threatening to shatter the already fragile alliance between humans and aliens. As Jordan and Altair raced to uncover the truth and expose the real infiltrator, long-range sensors lit up with a chilling warning. The Xanthar fleet had been detected, rapidly approaching the station. Time was running out. Jordan and Altair knew they had to unite the station's diverse inhabitants and expose the traitor before the Xanthars arrived, or all would be lost. As the first massive Xanthar ships emerged from the nebula, casting ominous shadows over the station, Jordan and Altair shared a determined look. The true test of their skills, their relationship, and the future of interspecies cooperation was about to begin. As the first massive Xanthar ships emerged from the nebula, casting ominous shadows over the station. The proximity alarms blared throughout the corridors, their shrill wails a harbinger of the impending battle. Commander Reeves's voice crackled over the station-wide comm system. All personnel to battle stations. This is not a drill. Repeat, all personnel to battle stations. Jordan and Altair exchanged a final determined look before racing to their assigned posts. The corridors were a flurry of activity as humans and aliens alike rushed to prepare for the coming onslaught. Jordan sprinted towards the hangar bay, his heart pounding in his chest. As he arrived, he found a diverse group of pilots already assembled. Humans stood shoulder to shoulder with Catarians, Centaurians, and other species. Among them, he spotted Zara, Altair's Catarian cousin, her skin shimmering with patterns of anticipation and drive. "Listen up," Jordan called out, his voice cutting through the nervous chatter. "We're facing a force unlike anything we've encountered before, but we have something they don't: each other. Our diversity is our strength. Let's show these Xanthars what we can do when we work together." As the pilots scrambled to their fighters, Jordan caught sight of Altair heading towards the engineering section. Their eyes met briefly, conveying a wordless promise to reunite when the dust settled. Jordan climbed into his cockpit, the familiar confines of his fighter, a stark contrast to the alien Xanthar ship he'd piloted mere hours ago. As his squadron launched into space, the vastness of the Xanthar fleet became apparent. Hundreds of ships, ranging from nimble fighters to massive capital ships, filled the viewport. "Talon Squadron, form up on me," Jordan ordered, his voice steady despite the odds. "We're the first line of defense. Let's give them a warm welcome." The battle erupted in a fury of energy beams and explosions. Jordan's fingers danced across his controls, guiding his fighter through the chaos with practiced ease. He watched with pride as his mixed squadron of humans and aliens worked in perfect harmony, covering each other's blind spots and executing complex maneuvers. Zara's voice crackled over the comm. "Jordan, 3 bogeys on your 6. Jordan barrel-rolled, narrowly avoiding a barrage of energy bolts. "Thanks, Zara. Return the favor." Together, they executed a series of intricate maneuvers, drawing the Xanthar fighters into a deadly trap. In a brilliant display of teamwork, they eliminated the threat, their different flight styles complementing each other perfectly. Meanwhile, deep within the station, Altair raced against time. The engineering bay was a cacophony of alien languages and the hum of advanced technology. She pushed her way through the controlled chaos, her mind focused on integrating her family's shield technology with the station's systems. "We need to reroute power from the auxiliary generators," she called out to a nearby human engineer. "The shield matrix requires a stable energy flow to maintain integrity." As they worked feverishly, a series of explosions rocked the engineering section. Altair stumbled, catching herself on a nearby console. Her eyes widened as she realized the implications. "The infiltrator," she muttered. "They're trying to sabotage our efforts from within." Without hesitation, she activated her comlink. "Security, this is Altair. We have an active saboteur in engineering. Request immediate assistance." Despite the danger, Altair knew she couldn't abandon her work. The shields were their best hope for survival. Her fingers flew across the console, making minute adjustments and complex calculations as she integrated the Catarian technology with the station's systems. Outside, the battle raged with increasing intensity. Jordan's squadron had suffered heavy losses, but they continued to fight with unwavering purpose. As he maneuvered through a field of debris, narrowly avoiding a piece of twisted metal, his comm crackled to life. "Mayday, Mayday! This is civilian transport Hyperion. We're sustaining heavy damage and our life support is failing. Can anyone assist?" Jordan's heart raced as he recognized the voice of the transport's captain. He knew there were hundreds of civilians aboard, attempting to evacuate the station. Without hesitation, he broke formation, ignoring the shouts of protest from his squadron mates. "This is Talon Leader. I'm on my way, Hyperion. Hold on!" Jordan pushed his fighter to its limits, weaving through the battle-scarred space around the station. He reached the transport just as a Xanthar fighter lined up for a killing blow. With pinpoint accuracy, Jordan fired, destroying the enemy ship before it could deliver its payload. "Hyperion, this is Talon Leader. I'll guide you to the emergency evacuation point. Follow my lead and stay close." As Jordan escorted the damaged transport to safety, he couldn't shake the feeling that he'd left his squadron vulnerable. The moment the Hyperion was secure, he raced back to the battle, his sensors alerting him to a Xanthar flanking maneuver threatening his team. He arrived just in time to see a massive Xanthar capital ship positioning itself for a devastating strike on the station. The behemoth's main weapon glowed with building energy, preparing to unleash a blast that would likely shatter the station's defenses. Time seemed to slow as Jordan assessed his options. There was no time to warn the others, no time to coordinate a counterattack. With grim drive, he pushed his fighter's throttle to maximum, aiming directly for the Xanthar ship's main weapon port. As Jordan's fighter streaked towards its target, Altair's voice echoed through the station's comm system. "Shield activation in 3, 2, 1. A shimmering barrier enveloped the station just as the Xanthar weapon fired. The devastating blast dissipated harmlessly against the new shields, but Jordan's fighter, caught between the blast and the barrier, was sent spinning out of control. Warning alarms blared in Jordan's cockpit as his damaged fighter tumbled towards the nebula's dangerous gas clouds. He struggled with the controls, trying to regain some semblance of stability, but the systems were unresponsive. As Jordan's consciousness began to fade, his last thoughts were of Altair and the station he'd given everything to protect. The nebula's swirling gases engulfed his fighter, obscuring it from view. Back on the station, the command deck erupted into chaos. Security Chief Vance burst through the doors, his weapon drawn. "Commander Reeves, step away from Lieutenant Commander Hawthorne. He's the Xanthar infiltrator." Hawthorne's face contorted with rage as he grabbed Reeves, using him as a human shield. "One more step and the commander dies," he snarled, pressing a concealed weapon against Reeves's temple. As the standoff unfolded, Altair monitored the situation from engineering. Her fingers flew across the console as she worked to lock Hawthorne out of the shield controls. A weak distress signal caught her attention. Jordan's fighter, now drifting dangerously close to the nebula's volatile gases. Altair's heart raced as she faced an impossible choice. The station's safety hung in the balance, with countless lives depending on her ability to secure the shield controls. Yet Jordan's life was slipping away with each passing second. With the battle raging outside and time running out, Altair took a deep breath, her bioluminescence pulsing with perseverance as she made her decision. Her fingers flew across the console, initiating a remote lockout of the shield controls. The system beeped in confirmation, and Altair allowed herself a brief moment of relief. Hawthorne wouldn't be able to disable the shields now. Without missing a beat, she switched her focus to Jordan's fading distress signal. "This is Chief Engineer Altair. I need a rescue team assembled immediately. We have a pilot down in the nebula." As she coordinated the rescue effort, Altair's mind raced. She knew the risks of sending a team into the volatile gases, but the alternative was unthinkable. Her bioluminescent patterns pulsed with a mix of anxiety and drive as she worked. On the command deck, the standoff between Security Chief Vance and the exposed infiltrator, Hawthorne, had reached a critical point. Vance's eyes darted around the room, assessing his options. He knew he had to act fast. With a subtle hand signal to his team, Vance activated his comlink. "Engineering, this is Security Chief Vance. Initiate Protocol Sigma 9. Seconds later, a thick, harmless smoke began pouring from the ventilation system. The command deck was quickly engulfed, visibility dropping to near zero. Hawthorne, caught off guard, instinctively loosened his grip on Commander Reeves. It was the opening Reeves needed. He drove his elbow back into Hawthorne's solar plexus, breaking free from the traitor's grasp. "Now!" Vance shouted, lunging forward through the smoke. There was a brief scuffle, the sound of a body hitting the floor, and then silence. As the smoke began to clear, Hawthorne lay face down. Vance's knee pressed firmly into his back as he secured the infiltrator's hands. Commander Reeves, catching his breath, nodded gratefully to Vance. "Well done, Chief. Now let's end this Xanthar assault once and for all." In the engineering bay, Altair had assembled her rescue team. Zara, her Catarian cousin, stood ready, her skin shimmering with anticipation. Beside her was Marcus, a human engineer whose quick thinking had saved the station more than once. "We'll be using the nebula skimmer," Altair explained, leading them towards a modified shuttle. "It's our best chance of withstanding those gases long enough to reach Jordan." As they boarded the shuttle, the battle outside intensified. The viewport was filled with streaks of weapons fire and explosions. Zara took the pilot's seat, her four-fingered hands dancing over the controls. "Zara, take us out," Altair ordered. "Marcus, I need you on power distribution. We'll need every ounce of energy for the shields and thrusters." The shuttle lurched as it left the hangar, immediately buffeted by the chaos of the battle. Zara's piloting skills were put to the test as she wove through debris fields and clusters of fighting ships. "Two Xanthar fighters coming in hot," Marcus called out, his eyes glued to the sensor readings. Zara banked hard, narrowly avoiding a barrage of enemy fire. The shuttle shuddered under the strain, but held together. As they pushed deeper into the nebula, the gases grew thicker, obscuring their view. Altair's eyes were fixed on the scanner, searching for any sign of Jordan's fighter. "There!" she exclaimed, pointing to a faint blip on the screen. "Zara, adjust course to heading Irwoj-7. The shuttle veered towards the signal, the hull groaning as it pushed through a particularly dense pocket of gas. They found Jordan's fighter drifting lifelessly, its hull showing signs of severe stress. "The tractor beam won't cut it," Marcus said, shaking his head. "These gases are too volatile." Altair's mind raced. "We'll have to create a shield bubble around both ships. It's risky, but it's our only shot." She moved to the engineering station, her fingers flying over the controls as she reconfigured the shield matrix. "Zara, I need you to match our velocity and rotation with Jordan's fighter perfectly. Marcus, be ready to modulate power to the shields on my mark." As Zara maneuvered the shuttle into position, a squad of Xanthar fighters appeared on their sensors. "We've got company," Marcus shouted. Zara's face set in concentration as she was forced to maintain their delicate position while evading enemy fire. The shuttle rocked with near misses, alarms blaring throughout the cockpit. Altair knew they were out of time. In a split-second decision, she interfaced directly with the shuttle's systems, creating a neural link with Etherian technology. Pain lanced through her body as her mind merged with the ship's computers, her bioluminescent patterns flaring wildly. Through gritted teeth, she called out, "Now, Marcus!" The shuttle's shields expanded, enveloping both ships in a protective bubble. The strain on the systems was immense, and Altair felt every fluctuation as if it were tearing through her own body. "I can't hold it for long," she gasped. "Zara, bring us in. Marcus, prepare for emergency docking procedures." The next few moments were a blur of action. Zara's expert piloting brought them alongside Jordan's fighter. Marcus worked feverishly to establish a seal between the two ships, fighting against the gravitational forces threatening to tear them apart. Just as Jordan's fighter's hull began to buckle under the nebula's pressure, the docking was complete. The cargo bay doors opened, and Altair severed her neural link, stumbling towards them on unsteady legs. Jordan lay motionless in the cockpit, his face pale and drawn. Altair's heart raced as she checked for signs of life, relief washing over her as she detected a faint pulse. "He's alive," she breathed. "Let's get him to medical." As they sped back towards the station, the tide of the battle had shifted. The combined human-alien fleet, now employing tactics gleaned from Jordan and Altair's intelligence, had outmaneuvered the Xanthar forces. Several key enemy ships hung lifeless in space, their crews in disarray. Upon docking, medical teams rushed Jordan to the infirmary. Altair, her body still reeling from the intense neural link, insisted on staying by his side. As she watched the medical staff work to stabilize him, she realized the depth of her feelings for this human who had risked everything to protect them all. Outside, the Xanthar fleet began to retreat, their coordinated attack falling apart without their infiltrators' inside information. The station had suffered heavy losses, but it had held. As the immediate danger passed, the focus shifted to tending the wounded and repairing critical systems. Altair sat by Jordan's bed, her hand resting lightly on his. She knew there would be more challenges ahead, more battles to fight. But for now, in this moment of hard-won peace, she allowed herself to hope for a future where humans and aliens could truly work as one. As the immediate danger passed and the Xanthar fleet retreated, the Centauri Nebula ship repair station settled into an uneasy calm. The hallways buzzed with activity as medical teams tended to the wounded, and repair crews worked tirelessly to patch hull breaches and stabilize critical systems. In the infirmary, Jordan's eyes fluttered open. He found Altair seated beside his bed, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing softly in the dim light. She squeezed his hand gently, relief evident in her eyes. "Welcome back," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Jordan tried to sit up but winced at the pain in his ribs. "The station? The battle?" "We won," Altair assured him, "thanks in no small part to your actions." Before Jordan could respond, Commander Reeves entered the room, his uniform creased and his face weary but determined. "Lieutenant," Reeves nodded to Jordan, "good to see you awake. We have a lot of work ahead of us." In the days that followed, the station transformed into a hive of reconstruction and reorganization. Jordan, despite protests from the medical staff, threw himself into coordinating repair efforts for the damaged fleet. His exploits during the battle had not gone unnoticed, and he found himself respected by humans and aliens alike. One morning, as Jordan reviewed damage reports in the bustling hangar bay, Altair approached him, her steps purposeful. "Jordan, I need your input on something," she said, handing him a datapad. "Commander Reeves has appointed me to lead a new joint human-alien research team. We're developing advanced defensive systems against future Xanthar attacks." Jordan scrolled through the information, his eyebrows rising. "This is impressive, Altair. Bringing together scientists from different species, it's unprecedented." Altair nodded, her bioluminescence brightening with excitement. "Exactly. But we're facing some resistance from conservative factions. They're not comfortable with this level of collaboration." Jordan set down the pad, his expression serious. "I've been hearing similar concerns about our work together. Some humans are uneasy about how close we've become." Their eyes met, a moment of understanding passing between them. Before either could speak, alarms blared throughout the station. "Attention all personnel," Commander Reeves' voice echoed over the intercom. "We are receiving an influx of refugees from nearby systems affected by Xanthar attacks. All available hands report to docking bays for assistance." Jordan and Altair exchanged a quick glance before springing into action. They rushed to the main docking bay, where chaos reigned. Ships of various designs, many damaged and barely spaceworthy, crowded the available space. Beings of all species stumbled out, many injured or in shock. Jordan took charge immediately, his voice cutting through the din. "I need triage teams set up here and here." He pointed to 2 areas of the bay. "Altair, can you coordinate with the alien representatives to ensure we're addressing species-specific needs?" Altair nodded, already moving towards a group of Tarian refugees. Jordan turned to a human ensign nearby. "Contact engineering. We need to convert some of the empty cargo bays into temporary housing." Hours blended into days as the station struggled to accommodate the influx of refugees. Jordan worked tirelessly, organizing relief efforts and mediating disputes between different species. His ability to bridge cultural gaps proved invaluable, earning him further respect from both humans and aliens. One evening, as Jordan finished a long shift distributing supplies, Commander Reeves approached him. "Lieutenant, we need to talk," Reeves said, his voice low. We've been interrogating Hawthorne, the Xanthar infiltrator. What we've learned, it's troubling. Jordan followed Reeves to a secure conference room. Inside, Security Chief Vance waited, his face grim. Hawthorne's revealed that there are more Xanthar infiltrators out there, Vance explained. In other human outposts, alien stations, the extent of their network is alarming. Reeves turned to Jordan. We're putting together a task force to root out these spies. I want you to lead it. Jordan's mind raced, considering the implications. Sir, this will be incredibly delicate work. The potential for damaging interspecies relations. Exactly why we need you, Jordan, Reeves interrupted. You've proven your ability to navigate these complex waters. We trust you to handle this with the necessary tact. As Jordan left the meeting, his head spinning with the weight of his new assignment, he nearly collided with Altair in the corridor. Jordan, she said, her eyes bright with excitement. We've had a breakthrough. My team has managed to reverse engineer some of the Xanthar technology from the captured ships. She pulled him into a nearby lab where a strange device sat on a workbench. It's a prototype weapon, Altair explained, capable of disabling Xanthar vessels without destroying them. Jordan examined the device, his brow furrowed. Non-lethal technology? That's incredible, Altair. But I can already hear the arguments from military leadership. Many will push for more aggressive solutions. Altair's bioluminescence dimmed slightly. I know, but isn't this a chance to show we're better than the Xanthars? That we can win this war without resorting to their level of destruction? Before Jordan could respond, alarms blared once again. Commander Reeves' voice came over the intercom, tension evident in his tone. All senior staff report to the command deck immediately. We've received a distress signal from the human colony on Ethon 4. They're under Xanthar attack. Jordan and Altair shared a look of concern before racing towards the command deck. As they ran, Jordan couldn't shake the feeling that the decisions made in the next few hours would shape the future of human-alien relations forever. They burst onto the command deck, finding it already a flurry of activity. Reeves stood at the center, his face illuminated by the holographic display of Ethon 4 and the Xanthar ships surrounding it. We have a choice to make, Reeves announced as Jordan and Altair joined the group. Do we send our still-recovering forces to aid the colony, or maintain our defensive position here? The room erupted into heated debate. Jordan listened, his mind racing through the potential consequences of each choice. Finally, he stepped forward. Commander, he said, his voice steady, I believe we must intervene. This is more than just a tactical decision. It's a chance to show the strength of our new interspecies alliance, to prove that we stand together against the Xanthar threat. Reeves considered Jordan's words, then nodded slowly. Very well. Lieutenant, assemble a mixed fleet of human and alien ships. You'll lead the relief mission. As the command deck burst into action, Altair grabbed Jordan's arm. I'm coming with you, she said firmly. My expertise with the new anti-Xanthar technology could be crucial. Jordan opened his mouth to protest, but the commitment in Altair's eyes silenced him. He simply nodded, a mix of pride and fear swelling in his chest. As they prepared to depart, Jordan and Altair found themselves alone in a quiet corridor. The weight of the mission ahead hung heavy between them. Altair, Jordan began, his voice low. I need you to know. She placed a finger on his lips, her bioluminescence pulsing softly. I know, Jordan. Whatever happens out there, we face it together. They held each other's gaze for a moment longer, volumes passing unspoken between them. Then, with a shared nod of tenacity, they turned and headed towards the hangar bay, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them in the void of space. Space. The tension in the air was palpable as they boarded their respective ships, the weight of their mission heavy on their shoulders. As Jordan settled into the captain's chair of his flagship, he took a deep breath, steadying himself for the challenges ahead. The fleet launched from the Centauri Nebula ship repair station, a diverse array of human and alien vessels united in purpose. The journey to Ethon 4 was tense, filled with tactical meetings and last-minute preparations. Jordan's mind raced with possible scenarios, but nothing could have prepared him for the sight that greeted them as they dropped out of FTL near the colony. A Xanthar fleet of staggering proportions filled the viewport, their sleek, dark ships surrounding Ethon Fost like a swarm of locusts. Jordan's heart sank as he realized the true gravity of the situation. "This isn't just an attack," he murmured, his eyes wide. "It's a full-scale invasion." Altair's voice crackled over the comms. "Jordan, our long-range scanners are picking up Xanthar ships throughout the sector. If they take Ethon I-4, they'll have a foothold to strike at both human and alien territories," Jordan finished, his eyes hardened. He surveyed the battlefield, his tactical mind already formulating a plan. "All ships, this is Lieutenant Jordan. We're going to use the asteroid field at coordinates 227 Mark IV as cover. Follow my lead and stay in tight formation." As the fleet moved towards the asteroid field, Jordan's fingers danced over his console, plotting a course through the treacherous terrain. On Altair's ship, she and her team worked feverishly to calibrate the new anti-Xanthar weapon, the device humming with potential. The battle erupted in a flash of weapons fire as Jordan's fleet emerged from the asteroid field. To the Xanthar's surprise, the mixed human-alien force moved with unprecedented coordination. Human cruisers unleashed salvos of heavy fire, while agile alien ships darted between enemy lines, sowing chaos and confusion. Jordan's voice rang out over the comms, clear and confident. "Altair, status on the weapon?" "Ready," she replied, her voice tight with concentration. "Targeting Xanthar command ships now." The prototype weapon fired, a pulse of energy unlike anything seen before. It struck a Xanthar vessel, and for a moment nothing seemed to happen. Then the enemy ship's lights flickered and died, leaving it drifting helplessly in space. "It worked!" Altair's excitement was palpable. "Jordan, we can disable their ships without destroying them." Jordan allowed himself a small smile. "Excellent work. All ships concentrate fire on the disabled vessels. We're going to capture that command ship." The battle raged on, a dance of light and shadow against the backdrop of space. Jordan's flagship took heavy fire, alarms blaring as systems failed. "Hull breach on decks 4 through 7, his first officer reported. "We can't take much more of this, sir." Jordan nodded grimly. "Signal Altair's ship. We're evacuating." Moments later, Jordan arrived on Altair's bridge, his uniform singed and torn. Their eyes met briefly, a world of understanding passing between them. Without a word, they fell into sync, coordinating the fleet's efforts with a harmony that seemed almost telepathic. "We've got an opening," Jordan said, pointing to a gap in the Xanthar formation. "That's our chance to board their command ship." Altair nodded, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with perseverance. "I'll assemble a boarding team." The boarding action was fierce, a close-quarters battle through the alien corridors of the Xanthar ship. Jordan and Altair led from the front, their diverse team of humans and aliens pushing forward against heavy resistance. As they neared the bridge, a hidden Xanthar soldier emerged, weapon raised towards Altair. Jordan reacted instinctively, throwing himself in front of her. The Xanthar's shot caught him in the side, and he crumpled to the ground. "Jordan!" Altair cried out, her patterns flashing with alarm. But even as fear for Jordan gripped her, she maintained her focus. Her bioluminescence flared brightly, disorienting the Xanthar soldiers long enough for her team to overpower them. With the Xanthar command ship captured and their fleet in disarray, the tide of battle turned decisively. The remaining enemy ships retreated, leaving Ethon IV battered but safe. But for Altair, the victory was bittersweet. She knelt beside Jordan, her hands pressed against his wound. "Stay with me," she whispered, her voice trembling. "We won, Jordan. We won." As medical teams rushed to stabilize Jordan, Altair refused to leave his side. They were transported to the colony's medical facility, where human doctors worked alongside alien healers in a desperate effort to save Jordan's life. In the quiet of the recovery room, Altair sat vigil, her hand gently resting on Jordan's. Her bioluminescent patterns pulsed slowly, matching the rhythm of his heartbeat on the monitor. She began to hum softly, a Catarian healing melody, as she waited for him to open his eyes. Outside the window, the stars of Ethon IV's night sky shone brightly, a testament to the hard-won peace. But for Altair, the entire universe had narrowed to this room, to the rise and fall of Jordan's chest, and to the hope that burned as brightly as her own bioluminescence.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.